What is up, guys? Welcome back to Conversation episode number 51. Today we have two very special guests, executive consultants, Fernando and Gwen Rodriguez. So today is going to be very simple. It's going to be a little bit different from the usual. Usually it's fun, creative. Today is going to be business. So if you're into the business, we're definitely going to get y'all connected with the right people. If you want to make some little side hustle money, y'all going to get some information from them, how to make that money and maybe get you some financial freedom. If you're looking for financial freedom, this is the podcast for you. So we're gonna go ahead and start it. Fernando, I'm gonna start with you first.
Well, thank you for having us, Oscar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
You're very
this is
welcome.
Thank
amazing.
you.
Thank
we
you.
we feel special
Yeah,
for
very
being on
honored.
your podcast.
Yes, I'm very happy that y'all
But
are
let-
my first business entrepreneurs in my podcast.
But let's go back a little bit. You say it's usually fun and creative,
But it's always
So
fun.
now it's gonna be lame and boring.
No, today is more business oriented to where the people that are not into conspiracy theories, that are not into like, is there aliens? Is there what's going on? Are we in a simulation? Today is gonna be, how do you make money? How do y'all make money? And what markets are expanding? Because I've heard from a little bird that there is an amazing opportunity in a state I will not say. For people
Tune
that are
in
listening.
to find out.
Yeah, continue to
Yes,
find out.
definitely.
So the very first thing that I want to ask is, who was Fernando and who was Gwen in high school? So that people can know like a little bit about y'all's background. So yeah, just let people know about y'all's background, where y'all come from, who were y'all in high school?
Why don't you go first?
So for me,
Let me
I was-
find out. Let me find out some dirt over here.
I've told you pretty much everything. I mean, well, I don't know. Anyway, long story short, I'm from a small town, Yorktown, Texas, like an hour from here, from Victoria, and we live in Victoria, Texas, obviously. So it's a mid, average size town. But I grew up in a small town. Everybody knew everybody. Um, you know, I graduated with the class of 50, 55, 56. Um, Once I finished, I was an okay student, did my work, finished school, um, had friends, was friends with everybody, hung out with the popular crowd and the bad kids. No, no, I was just a little. I was friends with everybody. I was very friendly. So, but when I lived, once I graduated, I left and didn't. I really just didn't know what I was going to do when I finished school. So it's been a long journey. Um, so yeah, I that's basically if you're talking about high school, that's in a
In a nutshell.
yeah, in a nutshell, that's basically what high school was about. But my story continues.
All right, Fernando.
Um, I was born in California. My dad worked in construction, and he worked real hard for years. And my mom was a caregiver, and it was just a real hard life. I think we lived with his family, and um, my dad and my mom and we were living in the garage in that house in California. Then we migrated here. When we came, well, we went to Mexico. I went to first and second grade over there. And when I came here to Texas for third grade, I guess the language barrier was, I couldn't understand the language because I spoke Spanish most of my life. So they wanted to hold me back till, 3 grades back, all the way to first grade. And we were living 30, 40 minutes from town. So my parents met with this lady, and she advocated for us to travel all the way to Victoria so I could have an opportunity to stay in my grade. What happened was they traveled so far that they just stayed around town because they didn't have that much money to make the drive back and forth. So they would drop me off to school and then just wait in the car or run errands until I would get out of school. And I learned that recently from them. So they sacrificed a lot whenever I was younger. I always felt like I didn't have the basic um, education, as far as um, English uh, education. So whenever I went to college, I felt like I had a gap in my education. And I didn't let that stop me. I went into the nursing field because that was a great need for nurses. There was an option for welding, architectural graphing. There was so many other things that I wanted to take a look at, but there wasn't that much opportunities out there like there was for nurses. There was 100% of the people that graduated as nurses, they will find jobs immediately. So my whole determination was that I was going to change the course of my family's legacy. You know, my parents, they worked really hard and they made the sacrifice to jump from Mexico here. They're Mexicans, Mexican immigrants, and they got their residency and their um, citizenship. Yeah, my mom got her citizenship. So they made a big sacrifice, and I was gonna change the trajectory for our generation, for my generation. So I went into college, and that was pretty intense, and that was one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do because I felt like I had to study more. But just because I have these obstacles doesn't mean that it's gonna stop me. Even though I have to work harder than everybody else, that's fine as long as you reach or I reach my goal. And so I've been a nurse for 15 years, and I finally was able to let that go about a year ago.
Okay. And I know you're also were a nurse. So what made you decide to become a nurse? I know Fernando went a little bit into why he was a nurse, why he decided to go a nurse, pretty much his job security. He knew that going into, for example, in college, a lot of these kids take like financial arts or like liberal arts, where like you graduate college and it's like, well, what do you do with that degree? You don't, it's a really, I wouldn't say user's degree, but it's not a degree that you can find a job. So what made you decide to become a nurse? Because I know both of y'all are registered nurses. Thank you for your service.
That's where I met this beautiful lady in college.
y'all's story.
Yeah,
That's
in
where
college.
we
Yeah.
met in college. But yeah, I mean, I finished, like I said, I finished school, high school, and graduated. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Then I had two boys, two beautiful children. Um, you know, I, my first one was at 19, so I had to pick something. My motivation just went up. I said, I need something. So once I was given help, with in college, and so that was the first thing. I wanted to help people. I knew I was always one of those. I'm very giving. I feel like I'm giving to people, caring, and of course it what's the word I'm saying? That was very interesting to me, the medical field in general, because I'm like, oh, I like this, I want to do that. Like everything about it was interesting to me. So I'm like, let me do nursing. Obviously, they told me the when I finished, I was guaranteed a job. So that right there too was something I needed to focus on. Like I need to make sure I make money. I was guaranteed a good income, from what I thought was. So when I started nursing school, it was very hard with two kids. You have to be very motivated, disciplined, no distraction, and I was very motivated to finish school. And that's how I found nursing, and this is how we met in nursing school. So yeah, it was definitely it was a lot of motivation and discipline
Yeah, dude.
yeah. And so when I began working, I started feeling, okay, this is it. So yeah, it's still, and we still both have our nursing degrees. We still keep up with our license. So, and I'm still practicing with nursing as well.
Okay. That's awesome. So, What was the time where y'all decided that y'all needed to start looking for an alternative way of income? Like, what happened that y'all were like, you know what? Because nursing, most of the people think like, man, that's the ultimate goal, right? Like, especially like if you're, was it an LVN or a, like they're like, man, I don't want to be a doctor. Well, let me be what's the best next best thing, a nurse.
Yeah.
So what made y'all decide to be like, you know what, I'm going to, for example, for Fernando, leave such a high paying job to become an entrepreneur and pursue this business that you are in to become financially free? Like, what happened in your mind that changed everything?
That was.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
don't you? Why
that's
don't you
interesting because yeah,
explain on that?
there was something that happened that changed my way of thinking. I chose nursing also something secure, something where I could work for a corporation, get the pension, get the retirement, just go in get a high paying job per hour, right? Train time for money. I didn't know that expression back then. I just knew that my pay raise, my pay rate was going to be high. I didn't want to follow my parents where they were entrepreneurs. They started a restaurant business, a purse business. They had rental properties. They were always working, but it seems like they were working for their businesses instead of their businesses working for them. Long hours, every weekend. I mean, they were very hard workers. I just didn't want that for myself or for at that time for my future kids. So I went into that field, and I think it was like 9 or 10 years into my nursing field. We were driving to Dallas for a wedding, and we stopped in traffic. We stopped in traffic. For hours, we're traveling 75, 70 miles per hour highway speeds. All of a sudden, we come to a halt. And I don't believe the GPS had those where they forewarned you that there was traffic. They just gave you directions to your destination, but now they give you like a red or a yellow warning sign that there's going to be traffic. So I don't remember seeing that. So I came into a stop, and I just see those orange buckets flying in my rearview mirror. There is flying. And I thought that was strange, and almost like, is that my imagination or is that real? All of a sudden, I see this Hummer, this H2, those big trucks, and we were in a small sedan. Um, so he's coming full speed. I don't even think he stopped, but I just turned around, grabbed the wheel, punched the gas. I didn't even feel the car move, and he ran over us and then hit the car in front of us, almost killing my son. Put me out of commission for a couple of months from my job. She got concussed.
Yes,
It
it
was
was,
a really hard hit.
and you were out of your. Um, let's see, you were injured from your shoulder for
Yeah, a couple of months.
months,
So
almost.
I went into the nursing field because it's safe, it's secure. You're always gonna you have a high paying rate, a high income job. There's room to grow. There's lots of variety, and I felt like it was so secure. What I didn't count on is myself. If I'm not able to work, that's where the checks stop coming in. That's where the income stops. And I felt so stupid that I didn't see that. I'm always trying to think outside the box, and why and during that time I heard Tony Robbins talk about, if you're not working for yourself, you're working for someone else.
Right.
And that's how I felt. I felt like I've been working for someone else. And during that time, that year actually, that I got injured in that car wreck, I got awarded Nurse of the Year. I was a charge nurse, wound care champion. I had like a lot of certifications, a lot of accolades. But if I didn't show up, and I think they gave me 3 months. After those 3 months, they were just gonna have to replace me. And I felt like there's no loyalty there, but there can't be. They can't hold someone's position because they need to fill it in with someone else. So it is what it is, but that's when I decided that I need to build my own business. And that's where I just started focusing on residual, which I thought real estate was going to be that.
Right.
How about you, Ben? When did you change?
When did I change?
Yeah. When, or maybe she was, I think you were always open, seeking opportunities.
Yeah, I've always been open with like seeking opportunities out there. I don't know if I just, every personality is different. Everybody's different with, I wouldn't say I'm gullible, but I'm more just open mind. I mean,
You're willing to try.
I'm willing to try it. I feel like I don't think I've ever, I've done Mary Kay before, where of course I like makeup, so I'm like, okay, why not?
But
If it's
before
something.
then, you were a waitress also at Red Lobster, and then
Oh
you
yeah, I
worked some
mean
other jobs.
I've
Where
worked.
me, I went straight from high school straight to college. 2 days after I graduated, went straight to college, and then
That's
I mean,
motivation right
I had a
there.
job
Or
lined
that's
up.
discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a job lined up
Yeah.
like before I even graduated.
So you
and
had
then
already
COVID.
planned
His
what you were
whole-
gonna do. The only thing you didn't plan is Gwen. You know
Or
what I
that
mean?
wreck. Yes.
Yeah, that right. Yeah, cause I remember, like being showing people like opportunities, and then most people always say no to things, right? Because most people that have high-paying jobs always like, well, I make good money. Like, why do I need another side hustle? Like, I work hard enough as it is. But I feel like most people, once something dramatically happens in their life, then it's like almost a check. Most people, because I was the same way, you know, before I started the same business that y'all are in, that has given me the ability to be able to do this podcast, actually pursue my true dreams, which I didn't even know that I had dreams. Like before, most people, you know, everybody's like, pursue your passion. And some people are like, well, what if I don't have a passion? And it's not that you don't have a passion, it's that you just haven't figured it out because you haven't allowed yourself to experiment enough to be like, oh man, this is what I love doing. Like for the longest time, I didn't know I love talking to people, meeting new people, getting to really know them and try to understand and view the life the way they do. Because everybody views life differently, you know? So I think sometimes it takes something drastic to happen in our lives to kind of like shake you and be like, hey man, wake up. Yeah, wake up. Whatever you thought you were doing was good. It's good and all, but what if this happens? Something that, like you said, you've never even thought about, like, and you feel bad because you're like, man, I should have known. Like I'm not we're not gonna be here forever. As we get older, we get more fragile. You know, things start to break, start to crack. You know, you wake up like, man, what's this new pain we got in my back?
Yeah.
And then when we're young, we feel invisible, right? We don't ever see our own immortality. What we see is just, we don't think about like, hey man, you know, one day I'm gonna be like my dad, where, you know, he needs to retire.
Yeah.
And it's like, with this economy, there's no way he can retire.
Yeah.
You know, like right now, most people can't even make it on 2 incomes. They need 2 or 3 incomes. And I feel like this is where y'all can come in and help provide that value to those people that are looking for that 3rd income. Maybe it's a single mom that is just looking for a 2nd income just to be able to support their kids. You know what I mean? Because that's one of the reasons why, from what I'm listening to you, is that you joined nursing because you had little ones and you're like, I have to make it for them.
Yeah, I had no option, and I had no option to fail. I had no option to quit or anything because it's like my kids depended on that.
Yeah.
So
She took out like $20,000.
yeah, I
in
took
student
out a
loans,
loan. I took out a couple
which
of loans.
I didn't know coming into the
Yeah.
relationship.
Well, I
Surprise!
needed it. I needed it to survive
But
because
whatever it takes.
yeah,
Whatever it takes.
whatever it takes. Because nursing school was it was like a job in itself.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
if you didn't have, you know, if you still had bills coming, your car payment, everything coming, where are you going to get that money from?
Yeah.
So I still had to figure out a way. It was
She
either
still
that or
had to
don't go
pay
to
rent.
school. Yeah. So I think, like you said, when you were talking about, I mean, people joining or people seeing different businesses or looking for a side hustle or anything, it's like everybody's different. Everybody has different perception on the way things are. I know with us, I mean, he's very focused. When he wants something, he's going to focus on it and be 100%,
I
or
just become obsessed
obsessed with
whatever
it.
your
For
goal
me,
is.
it was more, okay, let's try it out. Why not? What can I lose?
And we're not trying to discourage anybody from nursing. It was definitely a blessing.
Oh yeah,
You know,
definitely a blessing.
I mean, we both worked in the actual floor, you know, in a medical surgical unit, and to be able to develop skills and knowledge that not a lot of people can acquire, you know. So you get your nursing degree and you're
It's
able
not
to
for
provide
everybody.
this
Yeah.
and give this help to someone, and in return you're getting paid pretty well.
Yeah.
But over time, it just takes a lot out of
It
you.
does. And we definitely need nurses to keep the hospital running. So we
Yes.
definitely
I mean,
don't discourage nursing,
and
but
even during COVID, I managed, or I was the charge nurse in the COVID unit, and we had a lot of strike nurses. That, I mean, it was pretty much overseeing 20, you know, probably more than that, nurses at a time, and all those patients. And I mean, there is a big need in nursing, and we need that. You know,
Do you feel like there's a shortage in nursing and nurses? And if there is, why do you think there is? Like I feel like most people nowadays don't want to. Most people want to become influencers versus like have like trades like
Yeah.
technicians.
they
it's,
everybody wants the easy way,
Yeah.
right? The easy
Yeah.
way, and not anything that's worthwhile. I feel like it's harder to get. You know, because if it was easy, everybody would do it. Let's just take like feet pics, for example. You know, like you would think that's easy money. I could just take a couple of pictures of my feet and sell them. But the way that, and I've never tried it. I should probably, right? Like
I had
just
a friend that tried it and he made like $50. And
we've
he's a
even
guy,
talked
ugly
about
feet.
it. We've
Oh,
even talked,
wow.
like, let's just try it. Let's see.
You
No.
might make $200, bro.
Yeah.
And then gorgeous feet.
I know that, or I don't know.
There's always, it's just because it's like,
See, I think that's what has changed. Like for example,
It's easier to make money in
Yes.
different ways.
ways.
and even if it's immoral, like where like
Yeah.
you're demoralizing yourself. Like for example, for women,
Yeah.
like there's back then there wasn't OnlyFans, there wasn't
Yeah.
like all this stuff where like women are now more pushed to do it.
Yeah.
More access.
Yeah, because they're like, well, I can go work this 40 hours, or I can just do an
Yeah.
hour and make triple the money
Yeah.
or whatever.
it's definitely tempting for
But
women
then,
to.
but then the way
if
that I
they-
see that industry or that field, or you know, the easy access is that now it's
comes with a
open.
price.
It's
It comes
open
with the-
for
yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
So not even though you're a beautiful, lovely girl and you want to be in OnlyFans, well, now there's a million people that are in
Yeah.
competition.
But to me, it's not only that. Is don't think about just like you said when we're young. We just think about the now. What do you think like in the future? Like what
Yeah,
future
when you do get
husbands
ugly.
prospects are you negating? If you didn't do it, maybe you could have got that multimillionaire,
Yeah.
or you could have got that. But since you did it, he's like, you know what? Like, nah, I'm good. I'll pass. You're not wifey material.
And then
Yeah.
you're bringing up integrity also.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah,
that's cut off, you know, if you're a Christian. And
kids, you know.
well, except for the feet. I don't see
Except
anything
for the
wrong with
feet,
the
yeah.
feet, but I still wouldn't do that. Yeah.
No, I probably,
You know, that's just-
maybe not. It's just feet.
Nothing, you know.
Nothing against it, just if hard times come, hard times come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of lost. So what were we?
So like, what got y'all to do this business, and what has it done for y'all? Like what? So since you're no longer practicing nurse, how did that happen?
So I loved nursing, helping people. I loved helping people, but I loved more the fact that I could get paid to help people. I'm able to provide for my family. So now that we have 4 kids total, but the 2 of them, they're already older, they're moved out. So we got twins, 11-year-olds, and that's the biggest motivator that I have. You know, we always do everything for our kids to give them a better life, you know, a better future. And I thought nursing was the key. And once I went through a decade of that and being able to stay where I'm at, like in the same house, to me, it just paid the bills and that's it. Every time I saved enough to make a move, to make an investment, the AC will break, or this will need to be fixed, or the car needs new tires, or the kids need new clothes. And I felt like I could never get ahead. I always just stayed in the same spot, and I got so frustrated with that. And I felt robbed whenever I got into that wreck, because we had a couple of $1,000 saved in our savings account, and then here we go again. Boom. Guy had drunk,
No insurance.
no insurance, no license.
It completely, it can put somebody upside down. And if they didn't have anything to fall back on, I feel like you wonder why even worse accidents, like it could
Like what
tear
actually-
somebody
Like your
apart.
health.
Your
Well-
health, if you lose a family member, and a lot of people don't have that backup
Like-
with their jobs.
My job was
Yeah.
on the line, not being able to lift up my arm from the.
Or imagine if it would have actually really like how you say it? Like made like you lost your ability to, for example, to walk.
Yeah.
Like, and then what do you do,
Yeah.
Like, luckily it was just your arm. When a wreck like that, most of the time, there's loss of life, loss of limbs.
Yeah.
Something that's really make you disabled, And then that takes another whole toll, not only in your physical, but your mental, because then it's like, well, how could you provide for your family? As a man, how do you provide for your family? So just let us know a little bit, if you can, what is this opportunity and how, like in what way has it changed your life and your life too?
It's definitely changed we have grown so much since we have when we were introduced to the business. When we were approached from you, we were approached from you for the business, and so I've obviously I right away when you showed me that you made a certain amount. I don't remember exactly how much, but
It was $700.
was it 700? I think
Yeah.
it was. Okay, so once you
$700
showed that,
in 2 weeks.
yeah, once he showed that to me, I think you were still kind of like, I don't know, maybe not, but
I was not trying to listen to it. I was not trying to hear it, but $700 in 2 weeks, I can't do that.
yeah, especially during
grass,
that time
nothing.
when we had the accident, and I think it was, we didn't have hardly any in the bank account because we were like struggling, and like I was the one that was still working. He was out, so it was just off of one income, and I was just having to hold it down and just, okay, we'll make it, and then luckily, I just give it all to God, because you were like, oh hey, I'm getting this money. I'm like, okay, well, how can you just what do I have to do? And you're like, okay, you just do this and this and this. And I'm like, all right, well then I don't see why I can't do it. So once I started making money, that's when he came into the picture.
Yeah, because
and
I think
yeah.
at the time you was like, man, dude, I'll be happy if I could just make $50. I know that's what
Yeah.
you were looking for. You were like,
'Cause he
you were
was-
desperate. You were like, man,
It was,
what can
I
do?
think it
Cut
was
grass?
300. It was 300. But
For-
yeah, go ahead.
But I think like whenever you're talking to me, you're like, man, I need at least something so I can, like pay for gas. Or I think you're like
Yeah.
$50 a week, or like where I can start cutting grass and maybe start building up. And then I was like, that's it. Like, bro, I have an opportunity that can make you way more.
Yeah.
And you're like, no. But then I thought of Gwen, because you were doing that, like you said.
I had done Mary Kay the year before, I think.
Yeah, and I remember you trying to sell it to my wife, your sister.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let me ask her. She seems like she's a little bit more open-minded at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So then I was like, we were actually at my mother-in-law's, and I was like, hey, Gwen, like I did exactly what my mentor said. Like, look, get a couple checks. The money is really what's gonna sell the business, because the business sells itself.
Yeah.
Like, everybody uses it every day. We're addicted to it. We need it
Yeah.
to survive. It's not a product that you have to stock up and be like, hey, take this vitamin, take this, that you may not like or it may give you a reaction. No, this is something that everybody uses every day. So then I was like, man, I felt like it was my obligation to tell everybody. And this, especially with like these new announcements that came out with the company, is like I have that fire back in me to where it's like it's almost like the gospel. It sounds weird, and it might, for people that don't understand, haven't seen the business, I highly suggest to talk to whoever may introduce you into this business or something like this. But
And we haven't said what it is
I
yet.
know, so y'all gotta stay tuned. If y'all wanna know what it is, y'all gotta keep watching.
Yeah,
So
I'll get
keep
to
watching. It's gonna be at the end. Y'all don't want to miss it. But yeah, so this is such an opportunity to get financial wealth, not only for you, not only for you, for me. It's for our families to be able to finally retire, because most of our parents, there's no way they can live off Social Security. And even for y'all, there's no, like, I'm guarantee right now, y'all know your grandparents, or maybe even yourself. Like, I know Social Security ain't gonna be there for me. There's no way, how the inflation, how everything's going, there's no way that's gonna even help me. Like, some people are like, oh man, I'm making, I think it's $800 with social. What the heck is $800 gonna do for you in a whole month? That don't even cover your rents. Rents are crazy.
Yeah. I see it all the time with older.
How much were you gonna get projected for retirement with your nursing?
I don't. I mean, I finished.
They don't sing you.
No, I don't even remember.
For me, it was gonna be 3,400.
Which is a pretty good living.
I don't know. I can't even afford
I can
that
spend that
right now.
Not
real
now,
quick.
yeah.
So I imagine 30. So
40
by
years
the
from
time
now?
I'm
Yeah.
67, 30 years from now, with all the inflation,
It's
making
it's not gonna-
3,400 a month,
Yeah.
I couldn't see how that would benefit anybody.
Yeah. But see, the problem is when you said 3,400, right? That's for right now. Some listeners are probably like, bro, that's good, because for most people, they're like probably making like 1,000 a month, 2,000. So it's like if you saw it, it was like, because a lot of people, the problem I feel like most people have is they think of the now. They see only the now. Like, oh well, 3,400 is like if you have your house paid off, you're not crazy, you can live off of that. But it's like, bro, what do you think that money is gonna be in 40 years? Like, that 3,500 isn't even the same as the 90s. If you were making 100,000 in the 90s, shoot, you were like you weren't even middle class. You were the upper class, like the upper middle class.
It's changed. So
Now you're like if you're making 100K, exactly 100K, you're like the middle class or low middle class. The inflation has gone so crazy that for it to be the same, I think you have to make like 400,000, 400 to 300,000 to be the exact same as the same lifestyle that it would be in the 90s. You know what I mean? The economy has gone so crazy.
it has.
So let's switch mindset right here. Now, from now on, let's just talk to help the viewers what opportunities there are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, what it is Ambit. It's a multi-level marketing company. What that is network marketing, which is direct selling. Am I giving it away that you want to hold off on that? Like, okay, okay. So it's direct selling, which means instead of going through third-party advertising companies, what they use is they use that money. You're talking about millions and millions of dollars that companies use to advertise, and instead they're paying consultants. They're paying people just like you and I to talk about their product or service. So everything that you hear negative about, it's a pyramid scheme. You're only gonna take my money. That was me. That's all I thought about. But I kind of know that it works, and I don't think it's scamful. I don't think it was. At least you were always kind-hearted and good ethical person. I didn't think you were scamming us. I just didn't think that field is sales. Yeah. Sales was another one. I don't like sales. Yeah. I feel like a salesperson is like digging into someone else's pocket. Like,
to fill their own.
Yeah. Let me see what you got here, and trying to be your friend and try and dig in your pocket at the same time. So I just never like that approach. But salespeople, people need cars. People need houses, right? Realtors, they're in sales. Life insurance. People need life insurance. So we need sales. And I had to just open up my mind and learn that there's other things other than working at a corporate job, trading time for money. So you helped me realize that by seeing that you're taking yourself out of your comfort zone, right? And then you as well, being open-minded, and because you were so open for an opportunity, y'all grabbed it. Where I'm over here being over analytical and thinking of all the negative things that can happen to it, and what people might say, but at the end of the day, they're not paying your bills. Right. You have to provide for your family. So now there's an opportunity where we took advantage of, and we became consultants with an energy company. The first thing that they tell you is become your own customer. Why? All right, well, I'm trusting you. I don't know what's going to happen. I've been with this company for years. And we switch automatically, save $30 next month. But we took that shot. Like, she took that shot in the dark. And, we asked for favors, started gathering other customers, other family members, people in our warm market. Now, what I learned about the transition from trading time for money to being open-minded and business-minded was a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And Rich Dad Poor Dad was like your mind just got unlocked. I forget the Matrix. I don't know what pill, but he took a pill, and then he saw the realistic version.
The red pill.
The red pill. So that book was the red pill.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I just saw the world different. I saw opportunities different. I saw how people actually live, based off of that book, and then they're just not going anywhere,
Right.
And I saw a lot of potential with the Ambit business. And why? Because it's a vehicle that's going to take me to my goals, which is something that I'm not selling cream. I can't even sell it to anybody. Everybody already pays for electricity.
Yeah, they already use it.
Yeah, this is just another option. So I'm not taking money out of your pocket. I'm actually trying to put more money into your pocket. And because I'm putting more money into your pocket, now I'm getting income where I could get paid and I could provide for my family. But not only that, let me show you how to do the same thing.
Right.
And then let's show everybody that you know and everybody that they know and soon enough you look 6 years later and now you're
Now you're about to get a yellow jacket, signifying that you're becoming a millionaire.
I'll get there, but now you're getting to the point where
He's like,
your
hold
wife's
on up.
yeah, your wife's grandma is sick.
Yeah.
And they're not feeding her at the nursing home. And then you make that decision, can we take care of her here? Can we? Well, what about the kids? What about this and that? Now you have options.
Yeah.
Where before you didn't have options.
Yeah.
You have to go to work to provide for your family. But now your income has been doubling, triple, quadrupling what you make at your own job. It's almost like, why didn't you quit sooner?
Right. Yeah.
Or earlier? So now it's giving you options where you could make that. And yes, so once you're getting close to making $1 million, they give you this really banana yellow nasty jacket where it looks ugly, but man, I've never wanted a jacket that bad before in my life, right?
Yeah, and we just went to an event this past 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks, yeah.
We just got to see our friends, one of our good friends that we met in the business, and it changed their lives. Went from, I think he was a personal trainer. She was
Bank teller.
and they got their jacket. It was a wonderful testimony for them, because it was funny because when he was giving his story at this event, he was telling us that he couldn't even buy pizza for his kids.
Caesars, I believe.
Yeah, Little Caesars. He couldn't even buy pizza for his kids that's how much she was struggling with money.
So
And
legit rags
now,
to riches.
yeah, and that is like, I mean, I love to hear those stories because it's it's like, look what they've become and what how they're able to, provide for themselves, and then also at the same time changing other people's lives. And so we were able to meet a lot of people that, their lives have been changed, and also, connecting with other people that are the same, growth minded. They have the same goals. You're able to, how do you say it, connect with them to where if you could add on to that.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
I kind
yeah.
of lost for words
No,
on
no, no.
that.
I think I know what she means. Like you relate.
You
You feel
relate.
comfortable.
That's the
Yeah, you
word.
feel
Yeah, you
comfortable.
relate to people that are going for the same goal, and not only that, but the positivity.
Yeah, or maybe have been in a different, worse situation than yourself.
Yeah, and
I know one of the most powerful stories that I heard was from, I don't want to butcher her name, but I believe it's Adele. Idalia. Hopefully one day I get to interview her, have her on the podcast, and she can tell her story because honestly, like it teared me up. It was a powerful story.
Yeah.
To where it's like if you were there and you heard it, you felt motivated and felt like, man, if she could do it, like everybody should be able to do it. It's just you have to have a strong why.
Yeah.
If your why is definitely is a strong one, you won't give up. And I feel like a lot of the stuff that y'all have been talking about is self-development. Because most people, once they graduate high school, they will never ever touch another book. They kind of view it. And I was like that too. Like we make excuses for ourselves. Like I'm a very slow reader. I freaking suck. I'm not from this country, so I kind of made that excuse to myself. I was like, well, I suck at reading books. Like, there's no way I could, like, man, it'll take me a month or 2 months to just finish Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then I first started with YouTube. They're like, hey, well, why don't you do Audible? Like, why don't you listen? And I was cheap. I was like, man, I don't want to pay Audible. Like, it's 15 or whatever it is, $5 or $15 a month. I was very cheap. I didn't see the value that it was giving me, right? So I was cheap. So I was like, let me go on YouTube. So I started with YouTube, and then eventually I learned that it's like for me to be able to grow and make more money, and not only for me to grow and help others become a better leader, is I need to invest in myself. And most people will invest in everybody else but themselves. To be able to help not only themselves but their families. So that's one of the things that I have seen y'all grow in is in self-development. So much so that now y'all are top grade leaders in your own right, where y'all have built an organization so big, the Dream Team, that y'all are literally creating what that title and like entails. The Dream Team is actually taking people's dreams and making them reality. You know what I mean? You have plenty of testimonials of people that are just in your team right now that somebody that is about to become an executive consultant, that is a single mother, that for whatever reason God put
We
y'all.
love you, Vanessa.
God put y'all in her way that you didn't even meet. Y'all met through some guy that introduced y'all to her.
Yeah.
Because
And she
he was
just-
looking, and she just was motivated enough to be like, you know what, I'm gonna call them. See what can they help me in, and that has changed. That phone call, well, whatever it entailed, because I wasn't there. Y'all know it, and if y'all want to talk a little bit how it happened, will change the course of her life forever, and the course of her kids' lives forever, which is crazy.
She's grown so much since I've met her in the beginning, and she has always been a wonderful, like, very happy person. She's always been very pleasant to be around, but even since I've known her, she's just grown to become a leader, and it's amazing to see that transformation in somebody, because I mean, now she's like making moves, and she knows, like, it works, and not only with the business, but just in general, just as, the motivation she has and being around other people. And I mean, that definitely, that I love seeing that kind of,
That's my cue to talk when she starts looking
yeah.
at me. She's like running out of things to say.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
funny.
He already
yeah,
he knows. He's like, let me go ahead and add
yeah.
in.
There's no elevator to success. You gotta take the stairs,
Yeah.
and what that means is there's no
Shortcuts.
shortcuts, but there actually is a shortcut, And I'm gonna give it to you right here. So the shortcut to success is to be ready to take opportunities and go for it. Which means if you're getting drunk every night with your friends or barbecuing every weekend and not talking to people, or if there is a successful person at a party and the conversation is kind of boring, so you go somewhere else, you're not taking advantage of those opportunities, right? Networking or talking with people or seeing what the options are, you're just kind of leaving it up to life, leaving it up to God to direct your life. So get ready for those opportunities. How do you get ready? You said it. Self development is key. Starting off with that book, How to Win Friends, Influence People, How to Win Friends. Oh, How to Win Friends and Influence People. But no, the other book was Rich Dad Poor Dad. Um, Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. Uh,
Richest Man in Babylon is another good one.
Richest Man in Babylon. John Maxwell is a
The
great
compound
author.
effect.
The Compound Effect by Dan Hardy. Um, what Grant Cardone. When I
10X.
listen, yes, when I read 10X, all these books, all this information, all this self development is gonna create you to be so frustrated to where you're at that you have no other choice but to seek an opportunity. And then whenever an opportunity comes, let's is a good friend of mine, his son, my age, calls to get his carpet clean. Lady answers the call. Lady answers and says, I'm sorry, my husband just passed away. We're closing up shop. Thank you for calling us, but we're unable to provide you a service. That was the opportunity he needed. He bought the company. He bought the cleaning company. He got all those contacts and just ran the business from there. He bought it from that old lady, gave her a check, done. Now he's running his own company. Why? Because he was ready. Now let's just say that you're not even thinking about that. You're not even seeking an opportunity. Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll call someone else. Thank you. I'm sorry for your loss. And that's it. The opportunity is lost. So being ready for those opportunities to come, having great mentors. I wouldn't be here without them. Um, First you, Robbie, Homer, Mark, and then over time, there's Tien, Rose. There's been Kevin has been, Julia, Emerson. They have all been, really,
Impactful in
yes,
our lives.
yes, key
Yes.
people in my life as mentors, and these are people that are succeeding or have already succeeded. They're already in the level where I want to be at, and so aim high. And it it so let's just say that you can come in contact with these people. That's all right. That's what the self-development books are for. Because uh, what about Sam Walton? The one that created Walmart franchise. So I want him to be my mentor. But how can I get in contact with him? Well, through books, through um, uh, what's the word?
Videos or
Documentaries,
documentary. Yeah.
documentaries, right? You get to know that person in and out. Just as simple as watching Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not a bodybuilder. I just try to stay healthy. But Arnold Schwarzenegger uh, documentary, it was talking about how his dad, in order for him to earn his breakfast, for example, his dad will make him do sit-ups. Okay, son, do 10 sit-ups and then you can have breakfast. Okay, you want this? You give me 10 push-ups and then you can have it. just simple things, right? Like that we take for granted and we just give it to our kids. But that gave Arnold Schwarzenegger a mentality that he has to work for something that he wants to get.
He has to earn it.
And exactly, he has to earn it. Now, his mentality is one that, okay, he might not be the best real estate investor, for example, but he'll outwork everyone there and then became one of the richest real estate investors in California. He won't get a president status because of where he came from. He wasn't born here, but he got the highest political status
The governor.
as the governor in California
like
because
the
he just
the
governor.
governor.
Yeah, because he overworked everyone. So that mentality, right? And so you're learning about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, now you're changing daily habits that you have. So that is
And that's where the compound effect comes in, changing daily
Another good one,
habits.
that's another good
yes. So you're
It's
so I'm giving y'all keys to success. I'm giving y'all
Yeah.
gold. That is the shortcut. That is the shortcut to get there, and investing in yourself. You mentioned that, right? We'll invest probably $10,000 in clothes and rims and things for probably even more than that, like things for our house decorating or vehicles, but we won't invest $50 for our own mind for an event. For example, let's just say that there's an event in Houston and it costs $400 for the ticket to for a convention with all these great successful people. You'll rather pay that kind of money for an NFL ticket or a comedy show, right?
yeah, all
And
that's how we were. Well, anyway, go ahead.
what were you
No,
gonna
go
say?
ahead.
So put yourself in the position that you want to be, and I feel like that I don't have any more sympathy, I guess, for people that are struggling. And sometimes, like for example, if that wreck happened to me, and I would have lost my function to walk, I I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't know where I'm at. I know I will be depressed.
Yeah.
Because I was depressed just for that period, after the wreck. I I turned around after that guy hit us, and all I saw was blood in my son. But he didn't have blood. He was fine. He was alive, but I thought he died. The glass was all over him. There was bars like sticking so close to his face.
It affected you a lot worse than it affected me, I feel like, because I don't know if he was just more with it, because I was like, I didn't realize I had a
Kind
concussion.
of caught her off guard, but I saw
Well,
it coming.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he saw it coming, and I had a concussion, which made me disoriented. So I had no idea where I was, and I've never experienced that before. So for him, he was more, when that wreck happened, the trauma, like you were traumatized, affected.
Yeah, PTSD.
PTSD from it, and I was
So-
more like, but yeah, I mean that, like you said before, things that happen, can put people in positions where they have no idea.
So for a few weeks, I couldn't sleep, and I really thought that my son was in my imagination, like he really did die. And I would hug him and fall asleep with him in his bed, and I just, that. So what I'm trying to say is that put me down for a few weeks, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yes,
imagine if it did.
I was injured. He's still alive, but if it was worse,
Yeah.
right? Let's just say I did get paralyzed, then screw, man. That's my life now.
Yeah.
All right, let's move. What can I do?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I don't know his name, but there's someone that doesn't have legs, and he's a motivational speaker.
I know exactly what you're talking about. He's an ex, I don't know his name, but he's ex-military, where he's kind of like a stand-up comedian where he makes fun of himself that his legs are no longer there, but he is such, he can walk now because he has, what's that called? Not amputees, but he has the stuff that you put in your legs so you can walk, prosthetics.
Okay.
But it took him a long time to be able to learn it. And he's a white gentleman, kind of built, stocky, you know.
And it's not him.
No?
I'm talking about someone else. Yeah, he's okay. Well, there you go. Now there's two. There's two speakers, motivational speakers.
You're talking about
right?
the one with no arm and
Yeah,
no
his
leg.
amputation.
have.
Oh yeah. I think this guy doesn't
Maybe
have
he
arms
ha-
either.
yeah.
He has when he has that microphone clip
Yeah,
to his shirt.
yeah.
And married, I believe he's
Yeah,
married.
he's married with the
Yes.
with the
Yeah,
son.
I haven't followed him yet, but
I've followed him and I've actually shown him to the kids
But
to
they-
show that there are a lot of
there's
things that
no
are possible.
excuse,
Yeah.
But the thing is, okay, yes, there's things. Don't say that nothing is impossible. Obviously, and I got that from him actually. Like obviously, I can't hang from a rope. You know, that is impossible for me. I don't have arms. I can't hike. But what I will do, and what I can physically do, there's no limit to that. I can whatever I set my mind to, whatever the made up mind sets, like you'll achieve. So
I think you have that strong ability and that trait that you really, what he puts his mind to, I mean, he'll just stay with it.
just become obsessed.
And
you have go
yeah,
ahead.
and you usually have the ability to just you stay focused.
Yeah,
'Cause
stay focused. Stay
you've
obsessed.
helped me, you know, because we've gone through different seasons, you know, with the
Yes.
business, and
Yes.
there's times where I didn't want to do anything, and I'm like, well, I don't know, I don't think so. But then it's like, no, let's keep on, or let's you know, so
And there's been times where I feel down, and
Yeah.
then you build me up.
Yeah.
And also,
so
Yeah,
it's
there-
not always just, you know, all the time where you're just like every single day. Yes, or there's time. Of course, it's, you know, you get discouraged sometimes. You get down. You have bad days, and that's where it shows where okay, you look past that and you just keep going because I mean it's not easy. You know, it's not going to be like put in your hand, given in your hand, where you're like, okay, well, what I got to do? I mean, you got to work at it.
So it's kind of what you're saying is you got to position yourself in the spot where, as opportunities are coming up, you can capture those opportunities. Because if you're not ready for an opportunity, sometimes opportunities come and go, and those opportunities will never come back. Kind of something similar to what's happening in Ohio. That this opportunity is so big where we're saving customers around 30 to 40% on an electric bill that they have to pay. And it's like, I see this almost as the same way when I first saw it. When Robbie told me, hey, would you like to make money off of people's utility bill? I was like, is this a for real? Like, is this a joke? I was like, I asked him, I was like, hey, is this, like, are you serious? It's not like a government thing? Because that's what I always figured, like, you know, especially like in our countries, there was nothing, I didn't know nothing about deregulation of electricity. Like, what the heck is that?
And what made you feel like you could take his word for it, like Robbie?
Honestly, it was an act of faith.
You were already doing business with
So I was already doing business with him.
So
He's
there
the
was
one that
some
got me.
trust.
Yeah, there was some trust. He got me into reading, you know, Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Richest Man in Babylon. He got me into self-development. So my mindset was kind of already there. I just needed the vehicle. And then whenever that opportunity got into my lap, I was like, we were dead broke. We had like $100 to our name. So then it was like, I had been praying. I was like, man, I need something else to be able to provide for me and my wife. That she was going to full-time nurse, so I was the only provider in the home. So then it was so tough because I was working. If anybody of y'all work in the automotive industry, you know flag. If you're not being productive, if you're not working your butt off, you're not making money. You could literally be sitting at the shop all day, and if no car comes in there, you make $0. So then I always knew the value of hard work. I just wanted to make my hard work actually pay off to the point where I don't have to kill myself on a daily, because it was hurting my body. Like I could feel it. And another thing that I would highly recommend for y'all young viewers, if you're looking into an industry, look at your elders. Look at the people that are old and are about to retire. what do they look like? And do you want to be like them?
That's exactly.
Do you want to have their lifestyle? If you do, hey man, go for it.
Yeah.
If not, you know, it kind of like whatever they did, you're doing, you're gonna get to that
Yeah.
point. So I started looking at most of my, you know, older technicians, and they had back surgeries, they had knee surgeries. And once you have a back surgery, you're never the same. Like, it don't matter how good of a job they do, you're not the same person. And I was like, do I want that for my life? And I was like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
You know? So then,
struggle.
yeah, they struggle. So I started praying, and that happened. And then as soon as it happened, I was just like, I was like, hey, if this is real, if this is legit, it's $100. Hey, what do I have to lose? You know, if I do get scammed, hey, it was just $100.
Yeah.
You know what
So
I mean?
you already had, I mean, you're open-minded already then.
Yeah, I was open-minded to it, and then we met up at a bowling alley. And, you know, because he was even still thinking about it. And maybe one day I'll have interview him, and he could tell his story and how he even hesitated on it. You know, and he's an entrepreneur. He's in the racing world, which is awesome. Like, I love, you know, vehicles, obviously. But he showed me that, and I was just like, to me, it was a no-brainer. Because it's like, bro, you're telling me I get paid on people's utility bill. And not only that, I can cut my bill down, and two, I can save my mom and my parents and everybody I know money. Bro, like, how can you not? And this is the opportunity that we have for Ohio, because the interest rates, the rates are so low over there that it's like we're beating the competition so bad that it's like a no-brainer.
It's just given to, like, you, I mean, there's no question about it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
it's
taking
just,
candy
it's just
from a baby,
opening
you know
up,
what I'm saying?
yeah. It's just a matter of time.
So we've made
Right.
the most millionaires in this state of Texas.
Yes.
And Texas has deregulated, and we're only in 3% of the market share.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about the state of Ohio, a deregulated state, where you're right, we are not even competitive. We're like way below. So we're almost guaranteed to save 100% of the market money, which is like given to us.
It's like a no-brainer.
We
It's
don't
like a no-
have to
yeah.
worry about them switching Social Security for a soft credit check. We don't have to. What else it could be?
They can cancel
No
anytime, and
penalty,
if they want to go back and pay that 40% more, they're welcome
Yeah,
to it. You
they
know?
can go
Yes,
back with no
and that just
penalty.
wouldn't make sense
Yeah.
for someone to pay more.
It's just people.
So you're guaranteed 100% of the customers in the state, a full state, and now also an opportunity to show and change people's.
Yeah, it's how they can make
Yeah,
money.
there's gonna be a big transfer of wealth in that state, and whoever takes advantage of that opportunity.
I believe Warren Buffett has said that the deregulation of electricity is going to have the largest transfer of wealth ever in world history. Because if you look at it, energy is $1 trillion market. And it's like, bro, how many of you want a piece of the pie of trillions of dollars? Like, man, if I can get 1% of that, I am fine. You know what I mean?
And I know, I mean, I'm sure it's.
And there's plenty of money. There's plenty of market for everybody. Is like you said, it's 3%.
There you go.
3%.
He
Warren
just
Buffett,
looked it up.
energy deregulation will be the largest transfer of wealth in history.
Yeah. Like I said, like, you know, I remember it.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
I think that was
I thought
one of
I've
the
heard
worst
that
things,
before.
first things that you had learned that he had said. I
So,
remember
someone mentioned it
somebody
to me.
mentioned it in the beginning when we first started the business, and
Yeah. Who
it's
Warren Buffett is?
yeah, who
I
Warren
didn't
Buffett-
know.
yeah,
It's a lot
yeah.
of learning, a lot
yeah,
of.
lot
And
of-
if you don't, hey,
lot
do
of-
your research. You know,
Yeah.
where he's definitely a credible guy. Made billions of dollars in the stock market. So most of the time when he talks, people listen. You know, so definitely. You know, so to conclude this podcast, where can people reach y'all, especially people from Ohio, people from, you know, Texas? How can they reach y'all for y'all maybe to have a one-on-one sit down to show them this opportunity? Because it is 80% visual. So what you heard here isn't the full story. To get the full story, please, you know, I welcome y'all to contact contact Gwen and Fernando, contact me, contact people that are in the business, and then we could show you how you yourself can get into your dreams, get financial freedom, and get the dreams that you're looking for. Not my dream, not her dream, not his dream, but your dream. So how can they contact you? Through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok? What's y'all's web handle? That way I can also leave it down in the description. So if y'all want to get in contact with them.
So we have a web handle, and it's you can either contact us by phone, or we have our energy web handle energysales.myambit.com.
Okay.
You just type that in, and it'll go straight to our website. Put in your zip code.
Well, it gives you two options.
Two options,
You could
yeah.
either make money with deregulation. Why not do that? Or you could become a customer and just pay into deregulation. So you have an option of be a customer or be a consultant. But it'll show our number in there, our contact information. If anybody has questions, we're always available. And we will put some information on the link.
Yeah, I could put it down in the description down below where they can find y'all on TikTok, like I said, Instagram, whatever way handle y'all will prefer. It'll be down below in the descriptions. And with that, guys, thank you so much for the sit down. I highly appreciate.
Thank
for
having
Thank
us.
you for the opportunity and changing our lives, man. Really appreciate it.
And with that, guys, thank you for watching. Until next time.